Well, here we are. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for the penultimate review of Daredevil. Born Again Seasons 1 and 2. I will be splitting this into two videos because I want to be able to give each season its own fair due. So, initially, here is my first thought, okay? Let me just spell it all out for you. When Daredevil Born Again was officially announced for Disney Plus, it had a lot of people rightfully concerned. They didn't know where the story was going to go. They did not know what the premise was going to be. And there was just a lot of overall anxiety because the original Netflix show was loved by a lot of people. A lot of people really enjoyed that show. So, then you hear, well, there's turmoil behind the scenes, all sorts of development hell. And eventually, it got to the point where a lot of the OG actors were threatening to walk if the show did not get fixed. And so, there was a reset. And even though there was a reset, and they brought some old and some new people in, they still had so much material that they wanted to use because they filmed the whole show before they redid the show. And so therefore, they did not want all of that footage and all that money and all that time to go to waste. So, what we got for 6 out of the 9 episodes is essentially Daredevil Netflix, except Matt Murdock is like brooding the whole time. Not that he wasn't brooding in the other show, but there was stuff going on around him. And I want to say, firstly, you can tell which team is doing what because of the way that the show is shot, the lighting, the camera direction is different. There's like long takes when it's, the good team. And then when it's the, bad team, like it's all brown and like gray color scheming. And it's like not the same show. Like you go from the unique lighting decisions in episode 1 and you get the long take fight scene with Matt and Bullseye, the death scene for Foggy, and the incredible acting. You get Karen, you get all that stuff, and then you get Matt deciding to retire and stop being a vigilante, and then you get that great scene in the coffee shop of Daredevil and Wilson Fisk face to face, but this time they're both two very different men who have not seen each other in a long time, and they both are on different paths now within their lives, and both trying to grapple with changing while also still deep down wanting to remain themselves. And so they set that part up in a very interesting way. Problem is that then the old team, the bad team, made most of the rest of the season. And you can really tell who was making what, because the old team, it was miserable making it. It was miserable. Just let me give the old team just a really quick grade right now. Y'all get an F. I'm sorry, okay? If you make Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio scenes boring when they're very good actors, then you're not doing your job right. You're not doing your job right. And so, why is it that this is not complete garbage? Well, because once the new team got their hands on it, and it wasn't just the lawyer man show, then that's when it got interesting. The old team introduced a lot of new characters that the new team could not get rid of because they were already established and part of the story, and you can't really get rid of them. So here's the thing. Generally, I'm not really the biggest fan of these new characters. They don't have the same life as the Netflix team. However, a lot of them get fleshed out in season 2, so we will reserve judgment for these characters until we see the full picture at the end of season 2. So what I'll say for right now is just put a bow in that. For right now, the new characters are just they're not great. And Heather is Matt Murdock's love interest. She's okay. She's not great. So, what is it about this season that I do like? There's a few things. It's not much, but there's a few things. I will say that when we get action in this season, it's pretty good. The Daredevil fights are all cool. I am slightly annoyed that Muse only got 2 episodes to be the villain. But I will say that any scene that Matt and Frank Castle are in, when they're on screen, it steals the show. They're not in scenes together very much, but when they are on screen, they have a really cool fight in the finale episode. They have a really cool fight, and it's just Daredevil and Punisher doing their thing, and then Punisher is like messing up the anti-vigilante task force later on in the episode, and that's sick, man. That's just some cool stuff. That's some cool stuff. And we get the scene earlier in the season where like Matt and Frank talk, and they have like a heart-to-heart, and it's just some great acting, and they really go through each other, and they really dig into each other's characters and their morals and their ethics as men, right? And it's really, really fascinating and really, really interesting. And it's a blessing that they brought the new team in, because if they hadn't, John Bernthal would not have been there. For God's sakes, they casted someone new as Vanessa. It would not have been the same if they had just kept the old team. It was not going to be a Daredevil show. It was going to be the Lawyer Man show. And I love Matt Murdock as a lawyer. And I will say, the scenes in Born Again Season 1, in the court, most of them are good. We don't really get a whole lot. We just get the White Tiger trial. But that's still pretty solid. That's some pretty solid stuff. I like the Daredevil and Muse fight. The first one is better than the second one. I think that Bullseye, for like the 4 scenes that he gets in this season, he gets more next season. The 4 scenes that he gets in this season are pretty solid. And Bullseye has always been written well. And I noticed that he's only in the episodes that are written by the new team. And I really, really enjoy Wilson Bethel as Bullseye. He is always good, no matter what they give him. And so I really think that the first episode, episode 6, episode 8, and episode 9 is, for me, the reason that this season was not like a 2 out of 10. To me, this season is a 5 out of 10, 5.5, 6 out of 10. You know what? I'll be generous. I'll give it a 6.5. But when we get to Born Again Season 2, I got a lot to say. We will get to that in just a second.